Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tale and Tea video. Today we are coming full circle, all the way back to the first tea I tried from Bitterleaf, or at least something similar. So last year, about this time, I was first introduced to Bitterleaf through the Year of the Dragon tea, which I will link above. But to this date, in my opinion, one of the best raw pours I've had, especially for the price. The price is incredibly reasonable, incredibly fair, and just a really solid all around tea. Really easy to drink, minimal bitterness, good amount of floral, good body, very light on the astringency. And vegetal and just everything I have compared basically every other raw pu'er up to this date to. For me personally, this is at least the last year's version of this was definitely my favorite, and I believe is sold out. You might still be able to get samples of it, but this year, Year of the Snake 2025, is here. Very excited to try it. It's still quite fresh. Last year when I tried it, it was probably towards the end of their supply. They I think sold out shortly after I bought my cake. But this year I bought it towards the beginning of it coming to the market. So pretty fresh. I've still been letting it sit, airing it out, and letting it acclimate. It's probably been sitting for about a month. I have had it for quite a while, but I wanted it to get acclimated. It was still obviously very moist, very fresh. It smelled very fresh. It still smells quite fresh, frankly. If it were up to me, I'd probably still let it air out or sit for another maybe month or two, just to get where I personally want it. Some of you out there might be fine with it where it's at now. But first, I'm going to get into the website, the pricing. We'll talk about it a bit. So if you want to skip ahead to me showing off the leaves or trying the tea, feel free. I have everything timestamped as always. But we will get into the website. So Year of the Snake, Spring Yiwu Raw Pu'er 2025. Looking at prices straight away, it is 21 grams. That's three 7 to 8 gram Dragon Balls. That's going for $3.50. So if you just want to try it, add it on to an order or something, real cheap, real reasonable in my opinion. And for a full cake like I have, that's 357 grams. So full traditional cake, none of those new school smaller cakes. It is only $39. So I think that's an absolute steal. That's a absolute load of tea. That's probably like a year's worth if you're drinking very regularly. And then you can get 2.5 kilos. So a ton of it's not even a tong, it's a tea. So seven 357 gram cakes wrapped in bamboo for $245. Very reasonable. Genuinely, thinking about it, I might, because as much as I liked last year's version, and hopefully I'll like this year's version, honestly, might just order a whole tea of it. It'll last forever, literally. Oh, I don't think I'd ever get through that. But getting into their description, a tea you can set your watch to. This tea represents what Yiwu Shang is all about, with a great fragrance, soft character, and gentle sweetness. Since we press this tea each year, it creates an excellent opportunity for vertical comparison of the same material year on year, going all the way back to the Year of the Monkey 2016. While the core of each pressing remains the same, there are inevitable differences due to varying weather from one spring to the next. The weather this year bucked the recent trend of ultra-dry springs in Yunnan, with periods of rain interspersed throughout the season. As a result, this year's tea is much more balanced, with a fragrance-forward profile and noticeable sugar sweetness. Our experience storing this tea over the last 10 plus years has been the development of even more noticeable honey and fruit notes within 3 to 5 years. Based on this experience and feedback from customers, we're confident in this tea for long-term storage. In previous years, 2017 to 18, we tested this tea against EU maximum residue limit, MRL, of 191 and 440 plus pesticides, both passing with ease. Although this year's tea has not been tested, the tea from the same land and our confidence in this tea and relationship with farmer remains strong. If you would like a copy of lab results from previous years, please contact us. This year's wrapper features artwork by a most excellent Zurich-based artist and illustrator, Alice Hoffman. Make sure to check out her work here and follow her Instagram. For a comparison of the same tea, processed different, try our 2025 White Snake and Black Snake. And then it is 11 cents a gram. Yiwu, Sichuanbana Prefecture. Picked period March 19th through 27th, 2025. And I want to say I got this sometime in late June. In fact, I can check real quick. Yeah, so I got it June 16th, so it has been sitting a bit. But I think it'll do well with some more airing out and a little more age on it, a little more acclimation. It just smells very green still, you know what I mean? Very fresh for sure. But artwork looks really cool. I always appreciate good artwork. They always have real interesting artists for sure. We'll open it up and show you what the leaves, what the cake looks like. Looks real nice. Let's give it a smell. Smells fantastic. Definitely not as green as it was when I first got it. That was kind of an overwhelming amount of green. I opened the bag and it smelled like forest. It smelled like it is a pile of leaves, but it literally smelled like a pile of leaves. So that's why I've been letting it sit for a while, because it was seemingly very damp. And needed to acclimate a bit. I live somewhere quite dry too, so I'm sure there's quite a difference there. But I'm going to break a piece of this off, and I'll do my best to not break it apart, and I'll weigh it out, and we will get brewing. Alright, so here's the leaves, roughly broke them off the best I could. This is 8 grams, weighed it out. Going a little extra heavy today. And we will do a wash. We will start at just under boiling. It's at 210 Fahrenheit. So I don't know, like 98C, 99C. And we will do that as quickly as possible, like always. This being a fresh raw pu'er, we will leave the lid off as to not scorch the leaves. Looking at the liquid already, got quite a bit of color. Luckily I did break those leaves off pretty well, so not too dusty or muddy. Looking good, looking clear. And we will go straight into that first steep. Water's cooled down a tiny bit, but still pretty hot, pretty close enough to boiling. And we will steep that for, I don't know, roughly 10 seconds. And here is that first steep. So comparing color, a little darker, a little richer, but overall still pretty close, I'd say. Got quite a bit of color on that real quick wash. Few specks here and there, but overall, it's a cake, very whole leaves. It's really up to how well you can break the cake apart. I've been getting a little practice in with some of these cakes I've been breaking into recently, but definitely still got some practice to go. So, getting a look at these wet leaves. Honestly, looking overall pretty dark, surprisingly dark, but still notes, very obvious notes of green. Let's give it a little smell. It smells nice. There's a for something so fresh, there's a surprising amount of a sweetness to the smell on the leaves. Strong smell of like wet hay, wet grass, maybe cut grass. Like candy note to it, like a fruity candy sweet note. Very inviting though. Just really for a raw pu'er, a very incredibly fresh raw pu'er. It's a surprising amount of sweetness, and it doesn't have a certain astringent smell that I associate with some of them. Not a ton of minerality on the smell. It's sweet, almost juicy, grassy, like sweet hay. There obviously is some vegetal notes to it, but overall, with all the other scents going on and the sweetness, it really balances out. All right, let's taste that first steep. Absolutely delicious. Very surprisingly sweet. A little bit of paperiness to it. I'm sure that'll, I don't know, maybe it'll go away. I don't know. Kind of reminds me of some white teas almost. It's very full bodied, quite a bit of sweetness, a little bit of a mouth drying effect, and a little slight bit of astringency, but it's super mild, and so far absolutely no bitterness. It's almost like so far, at least right now, it's a mixture of a sweet, like candy vibe and paper, or my predominant tasting notes. But I am going to do a second steep going at 210 Fahrenheit, and we'll do that for probably another 10 or 15 seconds. All right. That probably went a bit too long, not going to lie. Got a little distracted. So it's probably closer to 30. About 30, 30 seconds. Oh well, let's call it an experiment, see how far we can push it. Why not? Leaves look really nice. Nice deep dark green. Still smell fantastic. Still a very sweet candy-like vibe to it for sure. Yeah, definitely some papery notes I've gotten from I think most recently some of the One River white teas I've gotten. Not a bad thing. It's just interesting, especially for a raw pour. Still looks fantastic. Nice deep orange color, very clear. All right. We're going to try that second steep now. This one was a little extra long. Delicious. Fantastic. It's still quite sweet. A little mouth drying still. I managed to sneak out just a touch of bitterness, just a touch. If anything, it's a little nice because it's balancing out that sweetness. Still a little papery tasting, I feel, which is interesting, right? Because at first I felt like the leaf smelled very hay-like, very grassy, but taste-wise, I feel like I'm tasting paper. It's very nice though. It's very reminiscent of a white tea, in the body, the sweetness and that papery flavor. But then I'm getting now, since I extra steeped this one, so that's on me. But just to talk about it, I'm getting a little bit of a bitterness, a little bit of astringency, and then I'm getting some a lot of vegetal notes, and I'm getting those like sweet candy kind of notes going on in there, like a sugary sweet candy vibe to it. Very good tea this year. Definitely a bit different than last year. I don't recall that papery taste being there. Um, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch last year's video. It's also kind of notes for me to remember how things taste, so I can compare them just for fun, frankly. But really good. Frankly, in between steeps, I just ordered another cake before they run out. I want to have at least two sitting around. One I'll probably drink on, and one I'll age. So, yeah, it's solid. I'm a big fan of this series of teas. The Year of the Dragon last year was great. Year of the Snake this year is fantastic. Definitely both slightly different. They did mention there was a little more rain during the spring this year, whereas the last couple years it was very dry. And I do think that made a little bit of a difference, but we will see with age because that Year of the Dragon, when I first tried it, probably had about like 6 months plus age on it, and this one has like maybe two, so still quite fresh, but tasty nonetheless. I would highly recommend it. This will go on my favorites right next to Year of the Dragon. I think it's a fantastic tea. Definitely one of my favorites, especially for the price. $39 for 357 grams, 11 cents a gram. Can't really beat it. Yeah, that's all I got to say on this one. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, comment. See ya.